Good morning, friends. Good morning, friends. Today we are going to open source software. We'll try to understand what are the open source softwares. You know already, software is nothing but a collection of program to perform a particular task, or we can say like this: software is nothing but a set of instruction to perform a particular task along with its user manual. Okay, in the sense, it should include all the instructions in the program, and should also give us details about the how we are going to use that software. Okay, we'll go for first. We'll try to understand the definition of what is open. Open software is a computer software open is a computer software that has available to the general public for use as is modifications. Software typically does not license fee. See here, two parts are there in this open source softwares. First, open source softwares are the softwares which does not need any license, and as it is already existing software as open source software, you can make some modification. Making some modifications also we can use that software. Open source software is computer software general public is as we can making utilize that software. Software typically require any license fee. We'll see in detail little more regarding the open software. Open source software has become a very popular, and there are open source software applications for a variety of different uses, such as office automation, web design, content management, operating systems, communication. We have different types of open source software available on internet. Some of the most popular open source softwares are purpose of office automation. We are going to use the open source softwares for designing the web pages. We have also open source softwares to manage the content. We have also open source software. Even we have operating systems. Especially, I want to mention here Linux, open source software operating system. Communication purpose have also open source softwares which may use as it is, which are already available. By making you can use those softwares. Examples of open source softwares. Some of the most popular software packages such as Mozilla Firefox, The Linux and Apache are a very good examples for the open source software. Here, most popular open source software is the web browser. Most popular open source web browser is the Mozilla Firefox. Very popular operating system which is available in open source software is the Linux. Okay, here in your syllabus, okay, Ubuntu they are mentioned, developed from Linux operating only. We have a web server, Apache server software is there. Okay, Apache web server software is there, which is a very popular web server software. Next, the difference between open source softwares and proprietary softwares we will see one by one. The key difference between open source software and proprietary is its license. Main important difference between open source and the proprietary software is license. In proprietary software, we need a license to use it. Without their permission, without their authentication, we cannot use that software. Here, one more keyword is the product key. To use any software, any proprietary software, we must have the product key. Then only it allows to or install in PC computer. Okay, but there is no question of a product key or license in the open space. These open source softwares are available with cost usually, and along one more important thing, so along with its source code. Okay, that is the important thing here. Open source softwares are mainly popular because of its with the when we have those code, we can make on that particular software. Okay, that is the advantage of the open source software. Software is unique in that it is always released under a license that has been certified to meet the criteria of the open source definition. In contrast, creators of a proprietary software usually do not make their source code available to others to modify. Proprietary software, there is no availability of source codes. We can't make any experiment, make any changes within the existing software. That is the main reason. Source code. Okay, next we'll go for open source software should fulfill the following criteria. Okay, any software which you want to say it as the open source software, then it should fulfill minimum criteria is redistribute the software without restriction. Modify computer, we can redistribute. Okay, once we have that software, other people by making some modifications or without any making modifications. It's our interest. Okay, that is the one first restriction. First thing, we can easily redistribute to the others without any restrictions. That is the first thing which will to say it as the software. Next, the source code. Area to say only in open source software, it should be availability of the source code along with the software. It should be source code along with the software. Then only that software is the open source software, and it should also provide to make modification in the existing existing source code or in existing software. That should fulfill one more important area to say it as a source software. Okay, we can easily make any experiment on that software. We can make changes within that software. That should be provide that type. Should provide that software. That it as a open source software. And next, distribute the modified version of the software. We should have full authority to distribute that software, making any modification to the others by making modification existing open source software can distribute to the others. That be provided. That facilitates software to say it as the open source software. Next, categories of the open source softwares. Important. See, these are the very good examples of a difference of open source software. Office automation. Okay, office automation. We are going to use a open office software. Okay, this is a very popular open source software which can be used for automation purpose. Or next, web design. Okay, we have different open source softwares which can be designed any web pages. NUAV, new, GIMP shop, Bluefish. See, these are examples for web design open source softwares. Next, we'll go for web browser. Okay, already I mentioned Mozilla Firefox is a very popular open source software. Next, we have one more software which can be used as for the web server, that is the Apache server. This Apache server can be used as an open software. Next, communication purpose, we have open source softwares. Okay, Pidgin, Bird, HP, BB. These are some which can be used for the communication purpose. In e-commerce, we have some softwares, open source softwares. Qmart, Gencart, operating system commerce. These are some softwares which can be used as for the e-commerce purpose. Okay, content management systems. Okay, softwares which can be for the content management. Drupal, Joomla. These are some softwares which is for the content management. Accounting softwares. Okay, see there. New cache is the one software used for the accounting software. Database software, MySQL. Okay, it's a very popular open source software which can be used for, which can be generally used everywhere. Okay, this is a MySQL. MySQL is my structured query language. Next, here what we want to discuss here is the open for the operating system purpose. For the operating system, we have two softwares mainly which are Linux based. Okay, with the help of Linux, they are designed these softwares, Ubuntu and Fedora. Okay, especially we are interested to know thoroughly about the here Ubuntu, because as they syllabus here, Ubuntu operating system, largest community maintenance operating system. Okay, this is mainly comes under the category of Unix only. But mentioned the name Ubuntu enables users to draw upon a wide network for support. Okay, this is mainly used to support the network purpose. Okay, maximum people are going to use the Unix based Ubuntu operating systems. Next, one more Fedora. Fedora is a general purpose Linux system developed by the community. Fedora project led by Red Hat, a company committed to open source software and major Linux. See here. Okay, these are the things we have to know thoroughly. I hope you are understood what are the open source softwares, what are the restrictions to say any operating system comes under the category of open source software. Okay, I want to here one thing. Open source softwares are the software which which are available along with the source code. Okay, by you can make any modification, you can make any from that open source software. Okay, here we are interested to discuss mainly regarding the open source software under the category of operating systems. Okay, here in our syllabus they are mentioned Ubuntu. Okay, we'll see in detail Ubuntu software class. Attending my class. Okay.